So you just got a drone, you're excited to fly it, and you want to get that first shot. But hold on, before you ever take off, there's paperwork to handle. And I know paperwork sounds boring, but today I'm covering everything to know about drone registration and staying legal in the sky. Trust me, skipping this could cost you thousands in fines and in some cases even criminal charges. So let's get you legal and flying the right way. First up, the FAA requires registration for any drone weighing over 0.55 pounds. This equates to 250 grams. That's basically every camera drone on the market right now. Your DJI Mini, your DJI Mavic, your Autel, even those tiny racing drones in 250 grams. If you got a camera and you can fly it, it most likely needs registration. The good news, it's super cheap and it's super easy. It costs $5, lasts 3 years, and takes about 5 minutes online at faadronezone.faa.gov. I'll put that link in the description. You'll need an email address and a credit card. So here's where it gets interesting, and this is different depending on how you're flying or how you plan to fly. If you're flying recreationally under section 44809, you're registering yourself as an operator, not the individual drone. You don't need your drone serial number. One registration number covers your entire fleet. So if you have 3 drones and you're flying them all recreationally, that means for no money. You're not making any money from any of these drones. You only pay $5 once every 3 years, and you use the same number on all of them. It's a pretty good deal. But if you're flying commercially under Part 107, it works differently. Each individual drone must have its own unique registration number, and you pay $5 per drone. So 3 commercial drones means 3 separate registrations at $5 each. $15. This is because commercial drones are registered as aircraft, not just you as an operator. Once you complete your registration, you'll get a registration number. This is critical. That number needs to be on your drone externally and visible without any tools. So what does that mean? You can't just put it inside the battery compartment where no one can see it. The FAA wants it visible for inspection. Most pilots use a permanent marker and write it on the battery compartment door or on the inside of the battery bay where it's visible when you open it. Some people use a label marker or print a small sticker. Just make sure it's not going to rub off during flight or handling. Now, what happens if you don't register? The FAA can fine you up to $27,500 for civil penalties. And yes, they do enforce this. There have been cases where pilots flying illegally near airports or in restricted areas got tracked down and the fines were serious. Whether it's $5 for all your recreational drones or $5 per commercial drone, just do it. Okay, now let's talk about recreational versus commercial flying, because this is where a lot of people get confused and accidentally break the law without even realizing it. Recreational flying means you're flying purely for fun. No money involved, no business purpose. You're just out there enjoying your drone, maybe taking some personal photos or videos to share with friends and family. If that is you, you need to pass the trust test. TRUST stands for the Recreational UAS Safety Test. It's free, it takes about 30 minutes, and you can do it entirely online. Just search for FAA Trust Test, and you'll find multiple approved providers. The test covers basic safety rules, airspace knowledge, and operating requirements. It's not hard, there are no trick questions. You can even review the materials as you take it. Remember, it is free though, so don't let anyone scam you online. Once you pass, you will get a certificate, keep a digital copy on your phone, and maybe print one with your drone gear. Technically, you're supposed to have proof of completion available at all times when you fly. For commercial operations, you need a Part 107 license. It's officially called a Remote Pilot Certificate. This is more involved. You need to study aeronautical knowledge, airspace classifications, weather regulations, flight operations, emergency procedures. There are study guides and courses available, and yes, you actually need to learn this stuff. I will also be around if anyone needs to be trained or have a little tutor or some quizzes. I will be around, and I would love to offer my services to help, or just an open ear to tell me your struggles. So the Part 107 exam costs $175. It is 60 questions, and you need to score at least 70% to pass. You'll take it at an FAA approved testing center. It's a proctored exam, not something you do at home. The whole process, studying, scheduling, and taking the test, usually takes a few weeks if you're serious about it. Here's the upside. Part 107 opens up professional opportunities. You can legally make money with your drone. You can work with businesses, shoot real estate, do inspections, create commercial content. Some drone pilots make this a full-time career. One more thing, Part 107 doesn't exempt you from recreational rules when you're flying for fun. You still need to follow the same safety guidelines. Part 107 just gives you the legal ability to fly commercially. Now let's talk about airspace, because this is what most people don't know and where a lot of pilots get into trouble. Even recreational pilots need to follow airspace rules. You can't just fly anywhere you want. The FAA controls US airspace, and there are areas where drones are absolutely prohibited. And download the B4UFly app. That's the letter B, the number 4, UFLY. This is an official FAA app, and it shows you where you can legally fly. When you open it, you'll see your location and color-coded zones. Green means you're generally clear to fly, but you still need to follow altitude limits and other rules. Yellow means you should use caution, there might be restrictions, or you need to check for temporary flight restrictions. Red zones mean no fly without specific authorization. Airports are particularly tricky. Most airports have controlled airspace extending several miles out. If you want to fly in controlled airspace near an airport, you need LAANC approval. That's Low Altitude Authorization and Notification Capability. Here's the cool part. LAANC is often instant. You use apps like Aloft, AirMap, or even built into some drone apps like DJI Fly. Not anymore. You enter where you want to fly, how high, and when, and the system automatically checks if you're clear. If you're within acceptable parameters, you get approval in seconds. Sometimes it takes a few minutes if it needs review. Some areas require manual approval, which can take days, and some areas are just hard no-fly zones, near military bases, over stadiums during events, in Washington, D.C.'s flight restriction zone. Don't even try. Here's what people miss. Temporary flight restrictions, TFRs, pop up all the time. Presidential visits, wildfires, sporting events, Super Bowl, VIP movements, these create temporary no-fly zones. Before you fly, we'll show you these, but they can appear with little notice. Always check before every flight, even if you flew in the same spot yesterday. State and local laws also matter. The FAA controls airspace, but local government can control takeoff and landing locations. Some cities ban drone flights in public parks. Some states require additional permits. Some private property owners prohibit drones over their land. National parks, almost entirely banned for drones. State parks vary by state. This is why you always need to do your research before you travel to fly. If you question it, I just wouldn't fly there. I mean, at least I do. I might be a chump, but listen, I've broken enough laws. I don't need the FAA coming knocking on my door. Okay, well, let's bring it all together right here. So, before you fly, register your drone at FAAdronezone.faa.gov for $5. Get your trust certification if you're flying recreationally. It's free and takes 30 minutes. If you're planning to make any money, study and pass your Part 107. Then, before every single flight, check before you fly to make sure you're in legal airspace. Get LAANC approval if you're near an airport. Check local laws and property rules. Listen, I know this seems like a lot. I know I probably sound like a Karen, but once you've done this many times, it becomes routine. Registration takes 5 minutes one time. Trust takes 30 minutes one time. If you're studying for your Part 107, that takes a couple weeks, but it's worth it. Checking airspace before each flight takes literally 30 seconds. It's like checking your Snapchat. The alternative is risking massive fines, having your drone confiscated, or worse, causing an incident that ruins it for all of us. The drone community needs responsible pilots. So we're covering pre-flight safety checks that could save your drone from a crash. These are the checks professionals do before every flight, and they take just 2 quick minutes, but prevent thousands of dollars in damage or liabilities. If you found this helpful, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment letting me know what drone you're flying or where you're flying. I love a drone community. Let's build a community of legal, safe pilots. Safe. I'll see you in the next one.